was me. Well, hello, happy Tuesday, and welcome to Truth to Power, Hot Topic Tuesday. First of all, I would like to say hello to the communication consultant, Mr. Wendell King, and then I would also like to say hi about our host. I'm sorry, our host Dean Snell, who's our political consultant. Guys, how y'all doing? I hope y'all had a real good weekend, because I know I did. How have you been, Wendell? And then Mr. Dean. Unmute, Wendell.
It's always something. It's always something with me. I think it's production, because I unmuted myself, but somebody muted me back. And it's too early to pull out that fan, but it is. So I guess I was having a good day until about 5 seconds ago. Now I'm just playing. I had a wonderful weekend. I enjoyed Labor Day, and I was surprised about it because everything is so weird now. So
Yeah.
I was surprised that I was able to touch and agree with a mask on. I'm lying, I didn't have a mask on, but I was in the house. But I had a good time.
What about you, Dean?
I had a great weekend. I still ended up laboring on Labor Day grading papers yesterday. So happy Labor Day to everybody. I had to catch up on stuff because I was so busy with grad school this week. Hopefully everybody else had a good weekend. I know I was down here in Atlanta, and y'all know, I'm sure everybody saw the videos and all the craziness that was happening down in Atlanta. So
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Atlanta, baby.
yeah.
Atlanta. Well, for Labor Day, I was getting a lymphatic massage, honey. So I was enjoying every bit of that. And then after that, I was able to get with the family, and we kind of, did family things. We went out to eat at Landry's seafood restaurant, and I really couldn't eat like everybody else. So I just had to do a little pick here, a little pick of that. But it was just real good to be with family members and things of that.
I know Pac-Man took care of you. Pac-Man, shout out to Pac-Man. Shout out to Pac-Man. Dr. Matthews love her husband.
Oh Lord,
we want to give a shout out to the identity professor, Miss Aurelia Johnson. She's not able to join us tonight because she has a lot of family things going on still. So that's a part of that parenting thing that Brother Dean and I we don't share in, but
I'm gonna tell you like this, y'all. It ain't easy because look, right now that I'm over here doing this right now, baby, they over there having a club in the other room over there. See, I have to, I go there and be like, okay, I got to turn in being the bouncer. Party's over.
Well, I guess that kind of leads us into the first thing then, because we know HISD, Houston Independent School District, and New York School District, also the two. Well, Houston is actually, HISD is the number 3 largest, but New York is the number 1, and they both had the same issue. So, Doc, why don't you tell us about those little issues that y'all ran into today?
Well, no, not that, because see, we're in Klein District. So, so let me just go on and just do that. Okay, they started on time. So what ended up happening was that what I saw on the news today was HISD was not able to start their online program on time. And so due to the actual vendor who they used, as well as the vendor that was used in New York, it crashed. So you had students who were not able to attend online virtual classes. And then you have students, quite a bit, 1,000 in HISD, that still do not have computers, laptops. So how are they supposed to get their education? How are they supposed to learn? Like, what's happening? Like,
well, I guess because I teach down here in Atlanta, and that first week we had the same issue. I don't think and that's the problem with a lot of education systems. They're reactive, not proactive. A lot of that stuff could have been cut out had they just, bought a bigger broadband, made sure that the broadband had been extended before the kids got to the school. It's like IT just be like sitting. That's why I tell people all the time, like the IT department in these school districts, I'll be like, what y'all really doing? Y'all be getting $60,000, $70,000 and y'all gonna be doing it. What do you do? What are you doing? On top of that, you said something about the computers. Not every kid has a computer, which is a problem because if I'm not mistaken, then HISD push it back to 2-3 weeks. Because we started back in early August, so that's why I'm looking at them like you guys should have learned from previous.
But see, the thing about it as well is that they're claiming that they're going to be doing online virtual learning for a couple of weeks, right? Well, see, the school district that my kids are in is Klein ISD, and so Klein has 2 options. You have one option where you can send your child to school, but you have to sign it's like a health waiver form that has to be signed. Also, the children have to be, wear masks on the school buses as well as on campus. and they have, they sanitize and do everything they're supposed to do. That's nice, but my child gonna be at home. So everything started on time. My daughter thought that it was gonna be one of those, oh, I'm just gonna do 2 classes and that's it. Why they had it behind up there till 4:30. She said, Mom, I didn't have a good lunch break because I was gonna watch Sister and eat my noodles. I couldn't even eat my noodles because it was like 25.
Wait, your daughter looks at sister.
Yeah. I grew up with that. I said, oh, you got such an old soul. She do. Like, she a guy and stuff. I'm like, what do you know about all this? That's older than you. So,
Well, I still blame your boy for everything. I blame Donald J. Trump for this because he spent so much time trying to force them to figure out a way to open the school back up for face-to-face activity that it slowed down them being able to actually try these things out to make sure that they were ready. And so I still blame the orange guy.
Yeah, because I honestly feel like we could have probably went back to, or we could have did a hybrid thing. I know a lot of people personally don't want to do it. I personally wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to put anybody's child at risk or any of the teachers. I come to find that I had a lot of coworkers, and I have a coworker now that's like, she's fighting cancer. So it's like, if we would have had to go back into the building, it's like she wouldn't have really been able to be there because she's going through chemo right now. Not to mention those coworkers that we have that, they have their pre-existing conditions, the janitors. So, I mean, I understand my district is fully virtual. But we just got sent out a link today, actually, and I filled it out that asked us, how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable doing this? Do you feel comfortable with virtual school? Do you feel comfortable with hybrid? Do you feel comfortable, with going back into the classroom? And, I put, I don't feel comfortable going back into the classroom because, I mean, like I tell people all the time, like in these school districts, these janitors don't really do a good job cleaning up the classrooms, cleaning up the bathrooms and the hallways. So I'm like, if you can barely do right with the flu season, we're about to go back into flu season. It's September. Here in Atlanta, it was 72 degrees yesterday. When I walked outside, I had to go throw on a little sweater to walk my dog. So I'm like, you talking about coronavirus and the flu at the same time. Plus, we don't know if coronavirus is going to actually mutate on us and we end up with COVID-20. We don't know what's going to happen.
20.90. I'm gonna tell you like this though. I'm just gonna be straight up. My kid's not going because you're not finna send my kid to school and then you come back bringing the EBGs over here and then infecting the family here at the house and then run around here infecting grandmas and all this shit stuff. I think not.
And that's what people need to realize as well is that like a lot of kids, kids are coming from different places. Their parents are coming from different places. So I know in the school that I work at, a lot of the kids' parents are nurses, so they go to the hospitals and then they come home and you don't know what they're bringing back with them. So the kids come with something already, and then you got to remember Atlanta is popping. Like people don't know how to sit still and just relax. So they may have older siblings that go out and club for the weekend. And
or they may have parents who work in other places.
Dean that gave you a little dance.
But it's a lot that goes with this. I feel like if we do go back, it should be like in November, and I feel like they should be spending this time putting things together, putting some stuff together, like, because right now we have 2 districts here that are hybrid and 1 district that's going back fully. So, we go see what the numbers look like at the end of September. That's all I can say.
Well, my daughter will be going to school all year online. So how about that?
Yeah, I think that I blame the orange guy because this should have been already announced in April, as far as I'm concerned. Summer school would have been the best time to try all of this out. Summer school would have been perfect to try everything out, work through all the kinks. And so in the fall, it could have been perfected. But instead, the orange guy was talking and people were listening to him. Luckily for most colleges, especially HBCUs, they didn't listen to him and they did what they wanted to do. So they did practice through the summer and they did get it down packed for when school started. And so they're doing hybrid classes, and some campuses are completely in the dorm, off campus. So it is what it is. So blame it on Orange Pringle.
Blame it. Hashtag blame it on the orange guy. That's how you do it. You just blame it on Cheeto.
This one.
Blame it on Cheeto.
By that word. So, well, since we're talking about the Cheeto Maestro, we know that one of the breaking news that we see is allegedly he made some comments about military soldiers, specifically damaging to the ones that were fallen soldiers or captured soldiers. So what do y'all think about the pushback? Because he's saying that it's a lie. It's been 15 people that come forward saying it's a lie.
I could see him saying that though. Like the sad truth is, I can see him saying that just from the rhetoric that he's saying now about the generals. Like these people, like you're talking about generals that actually served in the military while you was crying about bone spurs that you didn't have. And from the stuff he said about McCain or any soldier or any former military person that was against him, he really trashed them. So I can see him trashing these military people, though. I can honestly, everything that they said, I can see actually happen. I can really see that with them.
Well, he said it about McCain, right? He said when they said McCain was a war hero, he said on video, he said he's not a hero. Why do you say he's a hero? Because he got caught. He's a loser. Like he literally said that. And
to me, that's bad because that man actually did serve in the military at a time when many Americans went to the military. Both of my grandfathers were in Vietnam, and both of them are kind of like still shaken from that whole experience. And the fact that you have a commander in chief that dodged, because he's basically a draft dodger. His daddy
at the same time as your grandfathers.
Yeah. His daddy dodged the draft. He dodged the draft. His granddaddy dodged the draft. Dodged military experience. His sons.
It's like he be dodging the IRS too, huh? Because at the end of the day, he just down right disrespectful. Yeah. And they're allowing this to happen. So my thing is, when is enough is enough?
Well, we have to unpack that though, because the split side of it, he's saying, well, I didn't say that about the soldiers, but he is still attacking Pentagon leaders and military leadership, saying that they want to go to war because they want to line their pockets with money. Meanwhile, he's leaving out the fact that he's lining his pockets with money also with these attempts.
Well, see, that's why the military that's why I'm just going to be straight in the situation. The military likes a Republican president because they get paid, because Republicans makes war. That's just basically how it was. And then when Obama came into the picture, then everybody was like, well, we probably just take a little risk right now because this is like our first African-American president. And hey, we just going to sacrifice it on this one for these 2 terms. But that's why majority of the military people are Republicans, because that's how they get paid. They get paid.
The sad thing is that it's the higher ups, but I've seen, I ain't gonna say I've seen, but I definitely have people that's in the military. You definitely know that most of the money doesn't go to the soldiers. Like soldiers, they get pimped. Like those people that first walk into the military, they get pimped. All of that money goes towards missiles and all that other stuff, and to line the pockets of these people that's in higher ups that make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. They get raises, but it's like the actual soldiers that's on the ground. They don't really see that. It's like really trickle down.
Well,
that's why we don't ever need to.
But no, what they see hazard pay, they see jump pay, they see that actually looks better than what your average salary is. So
yeah, but it's like Dean said though, like that's completely correct that the military community is really a replica of what we live through every day in our regular economy. So the ones who are really making the money are the ones in the power roles, right? But the ones at the bottom are the ones getting the crumbs. So they're the ones putting their lives in jeopardy, but they are also the ones that are reaping the least amount of benefit. Ergo, the man on the corner with the army t-shirt on with one leg sleeping in his wheelchair at the park, right? Exactly. So it's a deflection. I still say it's a deflection, but the main thing is allegedly when they were in France and they had already done a brief tour, but they were supposed to fly to another site, but the weather was so bad that they would have to drive, and it was only 60 miles. So we know that's like 45 minutes. But they didn't want. But supposedly Trump said he didn't want to drive because he didn't want to get his hair messed up. He didn't want to mess his hair up.
He didn't want to get his lace front messed up.
Yeah,
that's what it really was. That's frank.
But he got that good glue though. He do got that good glue.
But but a lot of people said the reason why he didn't want to go to that is because he really has no respect for actual military service people. Even with was it John Kelly who was like at the funeral? He was like, I don't get it. Like, why? Like, why do they serve if they don't get anything out of it?
And John Kelly was reminiscing about his son. Remember? Yeah.
Because so a lot of these people, and that's the sad. A lot of people that back him, I'm like, you got, or a lot of people that starting to back away from him. It's like because I have a son that's in the military. I had a son that died in service, while you and your kids, have never served, so you don't understand the sacrifice.
This is where I become a cold-hearted snake, though, because I don't give a damn about the Kellys of the world because they're all right with his behavior when it's not close to home. But when it hits close to home, then they want us all to have sympathy for them. Hell no. That's what you get. He don't give a damn about you, your son, or your daddy, okay? But you thought it was okay when he was talking about them. But now that it affects you, now it's serious. Hell no. Get him, Trump. Because they were going all over the bus.
The bad thing is, and I think that's one of the reasons why so many white middle class people or white people in general don't really like him is because they were so used to the talk being just towards people of color. But now this president doesn't just trash people of color; he trash anybody that thinks differently from him. So they're not used to that. It's like we're used to this. We always get the short end of the stick. We always get targeted. We always get called thugs. Now that they're being called, because Antifa are nothing but a bunch of privileged white people, and now that they're being called thugs, they don't like that. But it's like that's what we've been called, and half the time we're just sitting here protesting peacefully, but we get called thugs. So again, like you said, to hell with them. Y'all, this is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all got. So y'all either vote him out in November,
our president, or either vote him out.
So come on with us.
Get right.
Draw a line in the sand.
Make sure we forgot, make sure you share, and like. We should have done this in the beginning. I'm sorry. Right. Make sure you share this video, put the word out. Go to our YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and come on back to Facebook and holler at your boy, your girl, and your girl. And together we're gonna get through this thing. And we also want to give a shout out to Laura, to the victims of Hurricane Laura. I forgot about it also because they are still struggling. Louisiana is still doing so bad in some parts of Texas. And it's so sad that when it's not a major city, they don't get the major media. And that is so unfair. Yeah. Because those people are really. I was looking at a break early today on Houston News, ABC, and they were talking about Lake Charles and Orange County, Texas, and it was like devastating to see how these people were they're still where they were 2 weeks ago.
And they haven't even started moving those people out yet.
Yeah, but see, Orange, Port Arthur, all the way to close like Lake Charles, what's that? Iowa, Louisiana, all that caught that in that little area right there. And I know one of my friends that works in the political realm that's in Baton Rouge. She always send me things as far as with disaster reliefs and things like that. So I was making sure that I was posting that so they'd be able to get, funds and things of that such, so they'll be able to take care of things that they lost, And the mayor of Port Arthur was, that's my cousin, but he was just straight up. He told the people.
He's a couple, right?
Yes,
yeah.
He is. He told the people, "Hey, y'all heard him." And then why he had a shirt made too.
But I don't blame him though. Like for real, like if you want to stay here, yeah. I'm not putting anybody else in harm's way because you decided that you wanted to be silly and stay here. We've seen that so many times with so many hurricanes. Like when people tell you to leave. You can get your life. This can be recovered, but your life you can't get back.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Katrina a long time ago. So many people just stayed still.
Absolutely.
And in certain parts of New Orleans, it still looks like. It still has a.
They'd rather take their chances staying at home. I would rather take my chance and leave.
Right.
I'm not gonna call you a bluff. I'm gonna believe what you say.
But
I'm getting the hell out.
But I can say
I'm wasting my time than lose my life.
Right.
Well, you know what? Right after Katrina, that's when they had that other hurricane that hit that was coming to Houston. Now, one thing that I can say about people in Houston, baby, you all got to tell us one time why everybody was on here. It took us 12 hours to get to Austin. 12.
Let me tell you, I drove to Atlanta during Hurricane Ike. And my friend Kendall left to go to Dallas at the same time we left to go to Atlanta. We made it to Atlanta before he made it to Dallas.
But I left for I
was in Korea.
I was there for Harvey, and because I lived in Texas for like 2 years. I literally, I think that Friday, the hurricane hit Saturday. I left that Friday. When I tell you Dallas was a clear shot, I got stuck in Dallas, but nothing really happened to my area. But I was just happy that I wasn't there to witness all of that with people, flood, and they had to evacuate people.
Right.
And I think sometimes
we didn't witness it in my area.
Yeah, my neighborhood was fine.
See, I was at a private investigator conference that was in San Antonio, right? Right when it hit, they ended the conference because it was in San Antonio. We had went to Walmart and get all the stuff that we need to get. And when we got back home, when I tell you, I went to HEB that one good time. And Cypress Wood was flooded. You hear me? Cypress Wood looked like Lake Houston. So I was like, all right, y'all, we got to post up, upstairs. Let's do what we got to do. It didn't hit nothing, but it tore up my whole sheet, everything.
I spent the whole Hurricane Harvey volunteering, because I felt bad because people were checking on me, and I was like, baby, I'm looking at it just like you looking at it on TV and on social media because my neighborhood is fine. So I started. I spent the entire time at NRG, Lakewood, and
George Brown Center.
Right, right. Because
I volunteered the whole time.
And guess what? I don't plan on moving no time soon. Because when you come up here on this north side, baby, we got good drink.
Yeah, I was about to say that the north side is not like the south. It's not like the southern part of Houston. Like that north side, I don't know if it's the hilly stuff or what, but when you're
on a real foundation on the north side.
On
the south side of Houston, it's full of mud and quicksand. But on the north side, you on a sure foundation.
Before I left to go, and I know we got to go on our next. But before I left to go to Mexico, right? I had told my husband, I say, you sure you don't want to bring your truck to Hobby? Because guess what? By the time we get back, it's gonna be flooded. He talking about hell no, we Ubering.
Best to, but look, let's go into the polls. Let's discuss these polls, but we want to know from the audience, just out of curiosity, who are you rooting for? Are you voting blue? Are you voting red? Are you a little pink? Are you purple? What's up? But we really want to know, so we want some feedback to know who is it that you're rooting for ultimately, and why. And why? But Brother Dean, why don't you start us off about the polls, this poll situation?
Well, with the Democratic National Convention over and the Republican National Convention over, now we're starting to see, everybody's got their hype out. So now we're starting to see the polls actually dwindle down. For a long time, we saw, with the coronavirus thing happening, that Biden was leading by a lot. But now we're starting to see people kind of like waver away from Biden, just in different places. I know, I think one of the things that I noticed or that they were talking about was that about 3 to 7% of not only Democrats and independents still believe that Donald Trump has a chance of winning. Like that was a big shocker to me with the polls. I know with the polls though that Joe Biden is still up. He's still up by 3 to 7 points. But the thing is that, like you said last week, and I have to give it to you now, Republicans are going to stick with Donald Trump because 89, I think it was 92% of them said he's going to win, whereas the Democrats it was like 85%. It's like you have your candidate. You should be going all in for your candidate. You should be taking because better believe the Republicans are going to be taking 3 to 5 people to the polls with them. They go pack up on them in them trucks with them Confederate flags.
Everybody get up.
And they go right down the road. They go right down the road. Us on the other side, what we have to do to make this thing happen is how we did, back in 2008, the 2008 elections, where we were like, okay, I know when I was in college, I had about 5-6 people in the car with me. I was like, okay, y'all, let's go. We go vote, and we early voted. So
yeah. But you also know that the closer it gets, the leads always tighten, right? We know that's going to happen, but right. It is still alarming when you're looking at things that are abnormal. Like when you see Joe Biden go from a 9-point lead in Michigan to a 7-point lead in Michigan, it's not alarming. It's just something to pay attention to. Right. It's something to put eyes on, just like Donald Trump, right? It is abnormal for Donald Trump to be losing a state like Texas or even be close in a state like Florida or Texas. That's right. Why he has to put boots on the ground, because he don't want to take that chance, because it's all about getting to that 270. It's all about who's going to make it there first. But Dr. Candace, my curiosity for you, I have a question for you though, Dr. Matthews. I want your opinion on this. After Kenosha, Wisconsin, and Blake, brother Blake, Jacob Blake, Donald Trump went there, and 2 days later, Joe Biden went there. They both went there with intentions of boosting, because everybody's fighting for Wisconsin. That's one of those states that is not that many electoral votes, but you need them. That pick it up. But Donald Trump lost. He lost some points in Wisconsin after. Why do you think that was so?
Because of his rhetoric. And I believe that these people are tired of how he handled COVID, number one. You know what I mean? I think these people see right through what he's doing. I think these people see, even though he was impeached, but clearly the evidence was there, but it just turned into the special privilege that he received for him not to go to jail. So I think what's happening is that this coronavirus business exposed who are your politicians who know what they're doing, and who the politicians who clearly we need to get your ass up out of here. And I think that's.
So what do you think, Dean?
I think I'm gonna piggyback off of her, because I think that's a big thing. I think what people need to realize is in the places, because just like we were talking about the schools, in the places where Republicans run things, COVID is still there, and the numbers are growing alarmingly. I tell people UGA, they opened up schools. They opened back up school, and they saw 1,000 cases within 2 weeks of us being open, to the point to where like they're thinking about closing the school back down and making everybody go virtual. Yeah. I know in my master's program, my professors were like, we're just going to handle everything virtually now, because we can't take a chance of any of you guys getting sick. But my biggest thing is just like Dr. Matthews said, is that we've come to realize that a lot of these people that we put that got put in place don't know. When you look at Texas, you look at Florida, you look at Georgia, 3 states with I call them the 3 stooges. I had a Dumb and Dumber. I had a status up about them, but it's like all 3 of them have this they're like Trump lackeys, and they don't. And the only thing they really care about is, catering to Trump. But the COVID numbers that's in Atlanta and Florida are continuing to grow. But the thing is, they've stopped a lot of testing, which is the sad part. It's like, you cut testing, but the numbers are still growing. So that should tell you that just because you're cutting testing, don't mean that the numbers are going to stop. The numbers are going to continue to grow. I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time, which is the sad thing, is like around Election Day, that's when they're going to try to shut stuff back down around that November, like that October 30th to November 3rd thing. Pushing that. We also got to realize that early voting is starting to start now.
October 13th.
Afraid.
Some places have already started. And some places will be starting September 18th.
Arizona started already. It's a few places started already.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I just think Donald Trump is scared now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's just as much as confident as he was with Hillary. You know what I mean?
Well, he wasn't confident with Hillary.
Well, you know what? He was, because he
No. He was more scared during Hillary
right now.
He was actually more afraid during Hillary than he is now. Yeah. He was afraid during Hillary because he didn't know where the numbers were going to fall, because he was losing in almost every poll. 85% of the polls he was losing. At least now he has some stable areas also. He still has some stable areas.
Still worried. I think he's still worried. He know that this is not going to be an easy win. And what really got him, like I said, is that now you got a pandemic that came into place, and it showed your weakness.
Not only the pandemic, but the civil rights issues that
the civil rights issues.
He's not doing well in both of them. And the thing that he wanted to push was the economy is great, the economy. But I'm like, right now, Black people are back to 12 to 13% unemployment.
Yeah, well, Latinx is even worse than Black people, but nobody wants to talk about that. Right. But we also have to remember that he has also engaged his new rhetoric of law and order, and so he is doing a very separate fight now, because his people have realized that if we can secure enough of that 72% of the United States population that is white America, then we don't need Black America. We don't need Latinx. Like he said in the quote where they quoted him in the book, his attorneys, Cohen quoted him in the book where he said that Blacks are too stupid to vote for him. They're just like the Mexicans. And so he was saying that the best we can do is force them to stay at home, because they're not gonna come vote for me in large numbers. And that was not a lie, because in 2016 that worked. Like that,
and that's why I stress, and for people that is watching tonight, that's why I stress, when you do not vote and exercise your right, that is actually a vote for him.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's already been quoted saying, and that's the reason why he's pushing back on the whole mail-in ballots. Because can you imagine every Black person getting a mail-in ballot and signing it and sending it in? Everybody in 2016 thought President Bush would be the last Republican president for a long time. So Donald Trump actually winning was a shock even for him. It was a shock for him. Nobody was expecting that. But again, the reason why they try to suppress us from voting is because the more people that vote, the worse off for him it is, because most of the country isn't conservative. Most of the country is very progressive, and contrary to popular beliefs, even when you were talking last week, Wendell, about a lot of these Republicans are tired of his rhetoric. They really are tired of his rhetoric. And unlike last time where a bunch of people kind of snuck inside of the booths and voted for him, they've come to realize you're the president now. You can't blame Joe Biden for what's going on. Yeah. You're the president. Everything and I think Joe Biden's campaign needs to continue pushing that. You're the president.
Because that's brilliant. I love the way Joe Biden said it best, actually, when he said he keeps telling you that what it's going to look like in a Biden America, but he's using a Trump America as a comparison. Like he's telling you what's happening today. But if you all have friends or family that are in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Oregon, Minnesota, Florida, and Texas, and Georgia, encourage them to vote. If you have felons in your family and you don't want us to know they're felons, let them know that in Texas and in Florida, you can vote as long as you are not currently on papers,
Oh,
if
right.
you're not currently on parole, you're not currently on probation, you can vote. Go and register today. I think it's about to run out. I think it may have already run out.
Well, Georgia, we have, I think, one more week before they.
Yeah, I think we have 5 days. I think we have 5 more days also.
5 more days.
Register. Make sure you register because that is the only way that we're going to do it. We have to bring those numbers out. The first thing that I think about every chance I get is that it looms over my head that in 2016, that Hillary Clinton lost Wisconsin by 22,000 votes. Jill Stein had 30,000 votes in Wisconsin. She had 30,000. Hillary lost by 22,000. But guess how many black people stayed home in Wisconsin? 86,000 African Americans stayed home in Wisconsin. Your vote matters. Please
And
know
that's
that.
what a lot of people, I don't think a lot of our African American people don't think that they vote matter, but it does. And that's why y'all that's watching this, y'all need to understand. Oh, when you don't vote, you just voted for Trump. Period.
And what you also need to realize is the consequences that comes with it. Because I think everybody keeps missing that. We're literally headed towards a place where, we're about to see a conservative Supreme Court justice. So we're about to see, a lot of stuff that can happen. We've already seen what happens when they gutted the civil rights bill when it comes to voting. We already see what's going on now with them, purging people off these voter rolls. That's just one thing. Imagine when we get, because we got two Democratic appointed Supreme Court justices that's like really old that could possibly.
Yeah, we have two, but we have one that's hanging on by.
Ruth Ginsburg she's hanging on by a thread, and we are hoping that she makes it through.
Well, baby, she tougher than boot leather. I can tell you that.
Yeah. But every time Ruth take a nap, we get nervous now. Like
no. Every time I cut on the news, they like Ruth Ginsburg. Go, what?
But wait, Dean, you said something earlier, and I think that is important, but I would love for us to have a visual. I think we have a visual for it, but I do want to make sure people can see what is actually happening to Republicans, that they are still open to the same issues. And then my favorite thing that I hope we have a visual of is the sunken boats, when they were trying to do their boat rally for Trump. So let's cut to that, and then we're gonna unpack it. Let's see these sunken boats and see if we can unpack that.
Let's see what Poseidon did.
Yeah, you have seen them crying. My favorite part was when old boy was crying because he said, I think it was the flags. We had too many flags.
I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh, here we go.
Watch what Poseidon about to do.
I'm still trying to figure out how your boat even sink. What were you doing?
Because you dealing with the blue wave, honey, and
Right.
they tired of these Republicans with their neck. Okay, Poseidon was like, "Get your asses out of my water."
But that's what happens. That's what happens when you think that you are invincible.
Yeah.
Because they are Trumpeteers, and that makes them invincible. But look at this. Just look at it. Look at all these boats.
They didn't got Pirates of the Caribbean, huh? They had their own little personal water world going on.
That's voter suppression.
I was really, really shocked though by them actually having this event. I'm like, I'm pretty sure half of them have never driven a boat before. They just go out there and rent a boat. That's probably why so many. Because from the articles that I was reading, there were like so many boats. They had so many people calling in, this boat sinking, that boat sinking.
Now, what it was, Aquaman was pissed off because all y'all get the ass in the water. That's what it was. I said what I said.
Somebody said Ocean was like, not today, not on my river. Not happening. Not in my river. So
not in my river.
Not in my river. I don't listen. Anything that
was like this. That was Poseidon right there. He was trying to tell y'all in Aquaman, get up out my
Wait a
water.
minute. Let's pivot to this coronavirus and the vaccine. I'm
Okay.
sure that y'all saw that Donald Trump and the White House went on an attack, manipulating the words of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, saying that they both were questioning and challenging science and medicine, which neither of them did. Actually, Joe Biden said that he was willing to take the vaccine even if it would cost him the election for trying it. So I thought that that was very daring. He's been doing a lot of daring things. He's truly a great example of what evolution looks like. It came late, but at least he evolved because he's truly gone against the grain on a lot of different areas. And then Kamala said that she doesn't trust Donald Trump specifically. Like she said, I don't trust Donald Trump.
I don't trust him either. I don't trust I don't trust any of the organizations that he has any hands in. So like I feel like if they do get a vaccine, I need to see outside parties data on these vaccines before you give it to the American people. Because I'm always big on thinking about the Tuskegee experiments. Like who's to say that, our community we don't get the placebos, or we don't get the real, because they already said they want to give it to us first.
You know what? But then this is why a lot of our kids got ADHD. You notice a lot of our black kids got ADHD, huh?
When when it's a study, you don't know if you're getting placebo or if you're getting the actual vaccine.
Yeah.
They don't tell you until it's over, until the study is over.
Right. And I don't trust.
But did you think Biden was crazy for saying he would do it?
No, I don't think he was crazy. I think he's really I think he really wants to, show the American people that I can be bipartisan. Even if it's coming from a Republican, even a Republican that hates me.
Well, I think Biden needs to be in the test room. I need to see everything. I need to see, and give me the needle. I need to see everything, and I stick it.
Well, trust me, the Democrats don't play. They're going to have their doctors give him the vaccine.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, I'm 77, baby. If the good Lord take me, the good Lord take me. He's gonna go out fight for the people but he's been presidential. Right now, Joe Biden has been very presidential. Right. And that's what I respect, because Donald Trump hasn't said if he's gonna take the vaccine.
Oh no, on the vaccine he talking about is Clorox and wanted folks to take it. Let me see your head behind take it.
Like you said, that's being presidential. Joe Biden, that's why I say I don't blame him for saying that. Because he's being president, he's showing what bipartisanism is. Like, this is what a president should be saying. And I think that's why so many of those people in the suburbs are still swaying towards him, because they're tired of the BS that Donald Trump got going on and all the stuff he said. And this whole military thing, back to that was a big issue for a lot of people. It's a big issue for me. So,
yeah, the vaccine itself, I've researched it quite a bit. I'm very private and secretive, so I don't talk much about stuff until I've done things. But I've been really, really digging into this vaccine, because I'm one of those people also that I'm always willing to take one for the team if it makes sense.
Correct.
If it makes sense, and I appreciate I appreciate pharma right now, because since the I was going to say the FDC, but although they bullied them, but the big pharma have come together and said, listen, we're not releasing nothing until it is completely done. All 3 phases has to be done before we play with y'all, because the science was getting ready to side with Donald Trump just to try and help him get this miracle vaccine before November the 3rd. So you have a great big announcement.
And that's trash, because who knows what this vaccine is going to do, because like the study still is in mid, I guess you can say it's in that mid section where there's still like trial and errors. Like, some people got the placebo, some people got the actual vaccine. They still don't know what's going to happen with these people, because it's going to take 2-3 weeks.
You know what, they end up trying, just like on the movie How High, when he was running around here trying that weed and the plant, and had folks throwing up and all kind of old stuff. Baby, they got to get it together.
I always think about I Am Legend with Donald Trump. and you talking about releasing.
I think about the purge.
That's what I think about.
I think about
Well, while we're talking about the purge, let's talk about these 3 books that are out about Donald Trump and his life. Because they are purging, and I'm loving every moment of it. I get my life. I love a good book. Anybody know me know that I love to read, and I love to experience what I read. And so I do want your thoughts. Dean, what are your thoughts on, do you think that this is going to shift the election in any way?
No, I don't think those books are going to do anything.
Okay.
I
if
think
you gonna impeach him, shit, the book ain't gonna do nothing either.
Yeah, I feel like the books aren't going to do anything. I feel like what's going on now is going to be the thing that drives him down. And I mean, if there's some stuff that's within the books that is like damning to him that we haven't already experienced, then I feel like it's going to chip away at his people. Hopefully, it's chipping away at the states that we really needed to chip away at.
What do you think, Dr. Matthews?
I don't think it's gonna do anything because first of all, we caught your ass red-handed to impeach you, and you got through that like a rat stealing cheese. So my thing is that book it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna do nothing because you know how they say negative publicity is always publicity regardless, and that's basically what it needs. I don't think it's going to do anything. It has to be something it's something else that has to happen.
Well, with my background being in journalism, I have to give pushback.
Okay, well, come on.
Because the pushback that I give, number one, he was impeached. So I get irritated when people minimize the fact that he was impeached. That is a part of his history. He will now be the 3rd president of the United States history to be impeached. So him getting away with it is not the truth. He did not get away with it. Getting away with impeachment means that they put him on trial and he was not actually impeached. But he was impeached. What he didn't do was he was removed from office. But no president has been removed from office. So he didn't do anything daring there either. That's normal, right?
See, my thing is they caught him red-handed, though.
He still had a Republican Senate to give him cushion. But the thing about the books that people have to remember is that the media will take these books and beat him over the head with it. The media will use things from the books to send out a narrative to the person who is still in the middle trying to figure out if they're going to vote for a Trump. For the Republican that is considering staying at home versus coming out and voting for Biden. So that's where the book comes in. So will it really play a big part? We won't know until after the election, right? But what we do know is that there are things in the book, in all 3 books, that we simply don't know, which means the media hasn't gotten it yet until now.
I can honestly
days to blow it up.
I can honestly say I am looking forward to reading Michael Cohen's book, though. That's going to be. I think that book is going to be damning because it was your personal lawyer. This is your personal lawyer, the person that did all your dirty work, that handled all your business. The reason why you even got the reason why that whole what's the lady's porn star name?
Oh my God, what was her name?
But what was the other book? What was the other book? Because I know it's the Michael Cohen book.
Daniels. That's it, Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
That's
how that got out. So I can imagine the other stuff that he's done. But I really want to see the business ventures that he has with foreign nations, like those Ukrainian nations, those nations that have like dictators. That's what's going to be damning.
Well, that's in Fire and Fury.
Oh, yeah.
But that's in Fire and Fury. That's the Michael Wolff book.
Okay.
So
Michael Wolff and Hoax. Hoax is another one that has a lot of the international relations mixed in it.
Okay, so these are all the books right here because see, I'm about to start ordering. So
these are all the books that was ever written about him, period.
Right.
Okay,
right.
But the one that I want the one with Michael Cohen. I already got that on my cart.
You want Fire and Fury.
What is it called?
You can even read
and Fury.
Fire and Fury.
And it's
and you want Hoax.
Yeah.
Because Hoax is about Fox News and Donald Trump. That's why I love hoax, because it is showing how Fox News was the enabler, was the number one enabler to all of his scandals.
Yeah.
So we're going to see, though, but we'll have to have this conversation in February when the studies come out, because we're not going to know, what exactly it did until it's done.
Yeah, we won't, and I feel like that February, that show after the inauguration. Well, I think our shows after that November 3rd election is gonna be. That's gonna be.
We have a show on November 3rd.
Oh yeah, we are on the show so that's gonna be so interesting. I think
that's
gonna be
that's gonna be the ultimate hot topic.
That's like a blow by blow. Like it's going to be interesting to see how crazy he gets when he finds out that he's lost all of these states. Because like you were saying earlier, I've never seen Texas so dang purple in my life. Since I've followed politics. Like these people are lit. But you know what? Like I told people a long time, like 4 years ago, when I was teaching those 8th grade Hispanic kids that were citizens, I say they're going to remember that their friends, family were being taken by ICE. And when it's time to vote, they're going to, because all of those kids that I taught in 8th grade back in 2016 are now eligible to vote if their birthday is before November 3rd.
Yeah,
they're eligible. That's a lot of kids.
Boys grow up to be men, in the words of King Henry V. You gotta watch them. But let's close out with something that is dear to me. Well, I'm sure it's dear to y'all. I hope it's dear to y'all. And that is the White House banning all funding for racial sensitivity trainings nationwide.
I think that's just a crock of shit, because
that hurt my heart.
Like, my thing is, y'all the main ones be running around here, insensitive and creating any type of racially charged issue. Clearly what we've been seeing across the nation, just in general, period. Right. Even all the way from the Texas Bar Association. Now they want to have a cultural sensitivity class, but you done already did what you did. So my thing is, in this specific situation, why do you want to ban the funding? Like, I don't get it. Why?
I think what it is Trump is preaching to a group of people again, to his base. That's it. That's all I see it as. We're going to ban funding for racial sensitivity because we don't have racial issues. Because William Barr has already said the police isn't as racist as people make it out to be. Donald Trump has this thought process that the country isn't as racist. The country is only divided because of President Obama and all of the stuff that he implemented. So let's get rid of all of this stuff that he's implemented, and let's definitely get rid of this racial sensitivity training, because we don't have no racial issues. That's the waste of money.
It's almost like trying to camouflage over it, like trying to act as though it's not there, it goes away.
Right.
But if any of you work for a company, or if you are the owner of a company and you are looking for someone to come in and do your racial sensitivity training, your LGBTQ sensitive training, you can always contact W2K Communications at WendellKing.com, and we are happy to fill that void for your company and for your life. Thank you.
And we can do trauma training, and that will be Texas on you Inc.
I got you covered. Okay, everybody, they're gonna leave our blackest, they're gonna leave our black. But I have I think the main place I am with this whole White House doing this is it feeds back into this barbaric nature of law and order, and it feeds back into this, we're here to protect you from the black people. And so he's feeding his base. He's saying, why do we have to keep kissing their ass? Y'all don't have to be trained. Out of all times, when you see white officers still gunning down black boys, this is the moment when you say we're no longer going to care about racial sensitivity. This is the appropriate time to stop it. You're feeding your base.
Yeah, but again, that's what he's hoping, is that his base is larger than what it is. He's hoping that, this feeds into those people that are in middle America who may also feel like, well, the country isn't as racist as these people make it out to be. It's just the media intensifying it. So he's probably trying to speak to those people too. and hopefully it's really not working, because we as a people, we see the issues, or you should definitely see the issues with with racism in the country, whether it's your job, on the streets. And one of my biggest issues also is that, we always hear that thing about, more white people are gunned down by the police than black people. And I'm like, well, that shouldn't be something to be proud of. Y'all should be in the streets ready to tear it up too. Like the fact that you're even announcing that is disgusting. And that means that there really is a problem with police brutality in this country. If
you say that 50 out of 100, if you say 50 out of 100 white men are gunned down by police officers, but each one of them had a weapon in their hand or was running with a knife, and then you had 20 out of 25 black men that are gunned down that had no weapon in their hands, that's what we're looking at. So we're not looking at the physical number, because y'all 72% of the ratio.
But
we're only 12.12%.
Here, crap, as we all know, you have to dismantle the police union, because they are the ones that are the first ones on the crime scene when something happens, and then they are the ones that want to defend the disgruntled cop. Period. That is what's happening. And
I'm dismantling everything. My philosophy is I'm dismantling the church, dismantle the police, defund the church, defund the police, tax the church, tax Bezos. We gotta do it. I'm sorry. This is where I am. It's time to stop.
I think we played pretty, as one of my close friends say, I think we played pretty princess for too long in politics, and we haven't really tackled
pretty princess.
And things are going to continue to happen because we still playing pretty. And that's the black community too. We play pretty princess too much with a lot of these politicians that we vote in, and when we don't get what we need, because I'm still upset when black people be like, oh, well, we vote all the time and nothing gets changed. I'm like, well, do y'all go to these meetings that these people have? Once y'all vote them accountable?
Do you do any of
that?
You can
send your child to school every day dressed in the best garments. But if you're not taking your ass to the PTA meeting, nothing's going to change with that administration.
And they have to understand that your local elections is just more important as the presidential election, because
it is more. It's more.
It's more important, because all the president really doing is pushing federal funds out and things of that nature. When it comes to your laws in your city, your laws are put together by the people that you vote for locally.
We're not the United States of America. We are these United States. Because meaning more than one. Is plural, not singular. So each state has its own
communicator. Come on, master communicator.
Local governance is where it's really at.
Right.
Absolutely.
But it's been great. We can talk all day, which we normally do. But it's been great. But Dr. Matthews, I know you have a little beep, boom, boom for us, don't you?
Yes, I do. And it fits specifically with what we're talking about here. And
you said every week, let's see.
But this one fits, because if you won't change, you know what I mean? If we won't change, and we won't change as a people, and we want stuff done, you have to strike the shepherd, and the sheep gonna scatter. Okay? I'm gonna say that again. If you want stuff to change, okay, you want stuff to change, you have to strike the shepherd, and the sheep is gonna scatter. That's right.
I feel like Kirk Franklin about to come on and talk a song to us. That was a good one. And that was very fitting. That was a good one. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep gonna run.
Now they go run to another shepherd though.
Hopefully, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. But they gotta run with their time, and I'll run to me.
Too. And see, that's my motto when you deal with accountability, y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My thing is, you strike that main one, then everybody else gonna understand after that.
But I honestly feel you with that quote. That's actually a perfect quote, because again, if the shepherd ain't doing what you need him to do, you need to strike him down. You got to flock and get him out the way. And if the next one that you get doesn't do the same thing, you strike him down and move him out the way, or her out the way too. We got to get into the habit of we get into the habit of being disrespected by the people that we elect. These are people that they get paid by our tax money. They get paid for our taxes. Yeah.
I think they got to be reminded, baby. Don't forget who put you there, because the same people that put you there can take you out.
But that can only happen when we sing in concert. We have to be in concert with each other to make those actions work. If we're swinging and we're just swinging like, what they call it, windmilling, and not landing any licks, then nothing is working. But when we come together in concert, in orchestra together, then we can actually land a punch. And all it takes is one punch to knock a nigga out. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Y'all forgive me. I didn't mean to say I didn't mean to say that. But listen, if y'all can do me a big favor and make sure you share, go to our Facebook page and make sure you share that, like it, and send somebody else to it. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It takes nothing but a second. And then go to our Twitter and our Instagram. And then we're going to all be in this thing together. Because remember, if you are not speaking truth to the system, then you are not fighting the power. So let's speak truth to power at all times. It's been wonderful, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
And that little girl was me.